So when setting up your trail bike for riding in the big mountains, my advice would be try and be as robust as possible. Skimping weight, saving those grams, will just cause you problems out on the trail.
You're also likely to encounter lots of different types of terrain, so there may not be one perfect setup, but here are our top tips for setting your bike up for riding in the big mountains.
When picking your tyre for big mountain rides, I would go for a larger volume tyre than perhaps you'd use at home on local trails. This one you can see is quite aggressive. It'll protect the rim so I won't damage that, because obviously rolling resistance is not the problem. It's usually gravity riding that you're going to be doing most of the time. This one here is a Baron. It's a 2.4, so it's quite wide.
On long steep descents with a lot of braking, your brakes will get really hot, so big disc rotors are a good idea. This is a 200mm rotor, something that you'd normally find on a downhill bike, and this is on my trail bike. It's not going to get as hot, my brakes shouldn't fade quite as much as if I had a small rotor on there. A 1x gear setup can be really good, especially if you're riding bike parks. Put a top chain device on there, it's just going to stop that chain from falling off. But if you're planning on doing any climbing, think about your gear ratios wisely, because they can get hard work if you're doing a 1,000-meter climb with a big 36 chain ring. So think about that. And you can go for one of these really nice wide ratio cassettes. I'm running an 1142. It's going to give me a nice easy gear for getting out the big climbs.
Suspension setup really depends on what type of riding you're going to be doing. I would say if you're going for gravity fed days, hammering out the descents, I'd add a little bit of more compression to your fork and your shock, just so it doesn't blow through when you hit rough sections, perhaps braking bumps or even jumps.
Alternatively, if you're doing big days out with lots of climbing, you might think about softening your suspension a little bit so the bike's more compliant, it's not going to batter you so much, and you'll just feel fresher. Also, you can take advantage of your climb or your lockout lever if you're going up for a long time. If I'm going somewhere and I know that I'm going to be riding a lot of hours and days back to back, I'll put a softer set of grips on. They're not going to last as long as a harder set of grips, but they'll be way more comfortable and my hands won't get so roughed up. A similar sort of thing can be achieved by wearing a thicker set of gloves just to protect your hands, or just make sure you ride a lot before you go on holiday to toughen up your hands. Bear in mind the spares that you might need. Tyres, brake pads, you can wear through those really fast in the big mountains.
One thing that I always carry with me is a dropout for the specific frame that I'm riding. You don't know what stores are going to be in town, and there is a chance that they might not have your specific one.
And for more videos from GMBN, you can click up here for more videos from our trip to Verbier.
And click down here for suspension explained.
Or click on us to subscribe to GMBN.
It's definitely free, isn't it, Neil?
It is free. We call it a subscription, but it's free.
Yeah. Big mountains, big mountains, big mountains, big mountains, big mountains. Whoa!